Well, Mbappé defends himself in a statement from his camp, but the fact is there's an online petition for him to leave Real Madrid, probably started by some weirdos or maybe not, but it's out there. And surely many of those who are voting, really many, aren't Real Madrid fans. They're anti-Madridistas, or maybe everyone is voting. But anyway, I mean, this isn't, come on, I trust the CIS more than this, but, well, I guess this is something you can check when I say I trust the CIS more than this. It's not just Madrid fans voting here. Here, anyone can vote or sign. Topa Rokiski, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it has surpassed 1 million requests for him to leave Real Madrid. Anyway, I also have to say something, and now we'll read part of that statement from Mbappe's camp. When many players from other teams, both in the league and outside, have been asked who is the best player at Real Madrid or who they fear the most, they all agree on Mbappé. Besides that, we've already seen in many videos on this channel lately some really great things that Mbappé does. He's 41 goals in 41 matches. Of course, then this guy has these numbers. They're just incredible numbers. But we've also seen how he makes things easier for the opponent in a lot of movements that aren't typical of a number 9. He doesn't press or presses very little. He doesn't contribute to the collective play, to the point that his coach comes and tells him without mentioning his name. But in a way that, well, anyone who wants to understand will understand. He tells him indirectly, taking advantage of the situation and without being asked about it, by making a comparison with Vinicius. No, I don't compare players, but at Real Madrid, you must know where you are. You can't play in a tuxedo. You have to put in the work for the team and help the team. In defense, it really annoys me and hurts me a lot that the other teams run more than we do. He also extended this to the rest of the squad, etc. The fact is that a horrible and super toxic atmosphere has developed around Mbappé, but there is definitely unrest in the club. As discussed in yesterday's video, the club wanted to leak it. And they have leaked that this unrest exists. And well, in the meantime, hey, we've got a Clásico coming up soon. On the team's day off today, Mbappé was at Valdebeba's training because apparently he wants to be ready for the Clásico. I insist, even with what we're about to read now from that statement from Mbappe's camp, it wasn't the best way to recover, being out traveling like that. It just wasn't the best way. Even though medically they might tell you, no, it didn't matter. The thing is, there are different kinds of recoveries, and in this case, there was no need for rehabilitation because rest was actually better. Okay, but it's always going to be better under supervision in Madrid, being at home, than being out traveling. It's always going to be better. And whoever tries to convince me otherwise won't succeed. They won't convince me. That's the number. It's intense, but so is everything happening. For now, well, let's talk about what was said today in that statement. They are based on an overinterpretation. What I just said is considered, and what many of you think, or what Mbappe's camp considers, is that it's an excessive interpretation, right? And I say, well, no, because I'll say the same thing again. You recover better, especially when you're so pressed for time. The match against Barca is on Sunday, and you can't be dealing with an injury you just had a week and a half before. Traveling around is just not possible. Especially if, because as far as I know, he hasn't even taken any physios with him, or maybe he has, I don't know. There's also been no information from here that that's happened, and we would have found out by now, or with part of the medical staff. No, that has to be supervised, I think. But anyway, the statement, basically, the most important part is that some of the current criticism is based on an overinterpretation of elements related to a recovery period that was strictly supervised by the club. Not that strictly, but anyway, that's the feeling I get. Yeah, because strictly would mean staying at home, going to Valdebeba's, even if it's just for a couple of hours. That's what I think. Even though that doesn't show how much commitment and effort Kylian puts in for the team every day. But what else would they say? What are they going to say? Well, the thing is, a lot of people aren't buying this. It was reported today. Well, look, right? There's a video from a post by Esther Exposito, where, well, if yesterday we saw tweets from Real Madrid about what was coming out about Mbappé, just look here, right? What people are replying to the girl. I mean, all kinds of things. The thing about Mbappé being a dictator, look, the sign from yesterday saying Mbappé out isn't here, but it's also that damn man. They've gone too far. It's too much. Today I was talking with I was at the gym and I was talking with one of the trainers, a coach who had been a personal trainer for a football player at one point, and he said, hey, football is becoming really toxic. And I was like, well, you don't have to tell me. I'm here dealing with this every day. And honestly, it's true. Social media has made this really toxic, but that doesn't change the world we live in, where you say, hey, there's a lot of exaggeration here. There aren't any real fans anymore. There are no team fans anymore, just individual player fans who turn everything into toxic competition. But that doesn't mean it should be used as an excuse for justifying certain behaviors that shouldn't be allowed. They were saying on Le Journal du Real, which is an account that provides information about Real Madrid in French. Wait, because if I put these guys on, they're speaking in French. But basically what they're saying is that they consider several of Kylian's actions as acts of disrespect in the locker room. I mean, there's a total rift between the team and Mbappé. And when this is said a lot, it's because there's some truth to it. So they consider several of Kylian's actions as signs of disrespect, and this might have been the last straw. Several teammates prefer to play without him. That's what they say. Careful, I usually only believe about half of this. Just saying. When such harsh words are used and things are taken to the extreme, everything's broken, this and that, I don't really believe it's all like that. That it's exactly as they say, when things are exaggerated or when someone goes to the extreme about something. But I do believe there's something, of course, because there is something. There's something. Bellingham is fed up with Mbappé, but he's not the only one. They say his professionalism and commitment are being questioned. They said something else here. Let me check if I missed anything. He thinks that some teammates, well, wait a second, Kylian Mbappé, this is also what they're saying in Le Journal du Real, what Mbappé thinks about the Real Madrid locker room and some players. He thinks that some teammates have ruined the season, and I think it's about those who at the time didn't really get along with Xavi Alonso. We already know who they were. Vinicius and Valverde seem more than obvious. And Bellingham was also on our list as someone who could have been another unruly element with Xavi Alonso. The other day, someone said on the radio, I don't remember who, that it hasn't been like that. That Bellingham wasn't involved in that. I mean, he didn't try to get Xavi Alonso fired, contrary to what some people think. He currently doesn't care about Real Madrid. These guys from Le Journal du Real are also saying that Mbappé doesn't care about the team and that maybe he won't play the last league matches, including El Clásico, as I understand it. And maybe that image we saw today of Mbappé training, let's see if the Madrid website has posted anything. No, I don't think so. It's not here on the screen or on the front page, right, of the Real Madrid website. But maybe those images some people are interpreting suggest he's rushing. He was supposed to have tests today. Trying to be ready for El Clásico is just for show. He doesn't want to play and is focused on the World Cup. The situation is really bad. Share your thoughts in the comments. This is from this morning. And the number I just shared with you is from a post here on ESPN. And the number was already at 1,278,200 signatures or petitions for Mbappé to leave Real Madrid. But I say the same thing again. Many of them are surely from people who are not Real Madrid fans. Well, that's it for now. So tell me what you think, because this issue has escalated to some very unpleasant points. We discussed this in the previous video, and every time I check, things keep getting worse. I really hope things calm down, that the season ends already, man, and especially that next year things get better. And most importantly, above all, and most importantly, that a coach arrives. Because I don't want Mbappé to leave, nor do I want Vinicius to leave. Well, not this year. This summer, after the World Cup, it seems that Vinicius is going to stay after the World Cup because for 2 years he hasn't justified that increase. The large salary Madrid would owe him under the new contract. Although Vinicius has been a bit inconsistent, he hasn't been as bad as some people have said because, well, he scored 2 great goals and all that. And honestly, Vinicius's numbers this year aren't bad. Last year's numbers weren't bad, but because Vinicius has played so well, they now seem less impressive to us. You get it. He needs a great World Cup for people to say he's made it, but some still think don't do it with Brazil, do it with Madrid. But, well, he's within his rights to push for that. Madrid needs to tell him, look, we'll let you stay until after the World Cup, but you must renew in the summer or you won't make it to January. There's no way you'll reach January 27 without renewing with Real Madrid, or else you'll become a free agent, which can't happen. I insist. I don't want either of them to leave. I want them to stay because they're two of the best footballers in the world, without a doubt. What I want is for a coach to come who sets them straight and gets the best out of them. And if that means punishing them, then let them be punished. The thing is, Madrid is a very particular club, and here punishments, when it comes to the stars, have to go through the filter of, what am I saying? Filter through the boss's approval, who says, no, 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 here my stars are on the field. No, they just don't help. Make them help. That's why Madrid needs a special coach, Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hope everything goes well for you. Give a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.